Hi, I am Joe, an artificially generated host, and here is a short recap of the most important cyberspace news from the month of July. Let's start with Revolut, a financial service that took a huge financial hit due to a technical loophole. It turned out that cybercriminals found a way to exploit Revolut's refund policy and used it to steal over $20 million in the span of several months. The criminals would purchase some expensive items, expecting the payment to be declined. Then they would ask for reimbursement, which would be granted, even despite the declined payment. The bug has been closed since then, but the criminals are yet to be found, and Revolut declined to comment on the issue. Last month, we also saw more developments in the BreachForum saga. Pompurin, the recently arrested admin of the infamous hacker forum, pleaded guilty to 3 counts of crime. 2 of them were quite expected, but the third one, not so much. It turned out that a massive stash of pornographic images depicting minors was found by feds, which nearly instantly wiped out all the cult following Pompurin had. A BreachForum's database with private chats and other data was also put up for sale by some anonymous hackers. The data dates back to the golden days of BreachForums and will most likely expose many of the forum's users who did not have good OPSEC. Talking of leaks, you might remember that we closed July on a worrying note. Anonymous Sudan, a Russian cyber gang known for its massive DDoS attacks, said that they broke into Microsoft's servers and stole the data of 30 million users. Microsoft immediately denied that and said they did not detect such a breach. Well, it looks like they were right. Anonymous Sudan almost immediately forgot about this story and switched to other targets, never mentioning the stolen data again, just like it did with many of its grand promises. By the way, Anonymous Sudan's next major target was Kenya, which sustained a series of strong DDoS attacks that took down many of its governmental websites and systems. Once again, the cyber gang said that it stole tons of data from Kenya, but failed to back up this boast with anything concrete. Oh, and if you still haven't seen our explainer on who Anonymous Sudan are and how they work, check it out. In other news, the US military may have leaked scores of sensitive documents thanks to a simple typo. A Dutch internet entrepreneur who manages the domain of Mali, which ends in .ml, said he received a lot of emails that were supposed to be sent to the US military, whose domain ends in .mil. Apparently, people just keep making typos in the address and sending their emails to the wrong place, and even after repeated attempts to contact the government, nothing changed. And with this small story, let's go to our usual section, Cyberwar, where a lot happened in July. And the biggest story once again came from the US. Several massive security breaches linked to Chinese hackers were discovered in various Western security systems, leading to thousands of organizations and politicians leaking their emails and other data. The breaches caused an uproar in the intelligence community and spurred discussions about the need to ramp up cybersecurity. The biggest step in this regard was made by the US Senate, which approved funding for an interesting study. It would investigate the possibility of creating a unified cyber force, a separate military branch that would unite all the Department of Defense cyber capabilities. Currently, most branches, including the Army, the Air Force, and others, have hacker forces of their own, and uniting them all would be an interesting prospect. Meanwhile, another cyber battle has been unfolding in Russia. In an event that can only be characterized as cyber civil war, a major Russian satellite communications provider was hacked by a gang which aligned with Wagner, a private military corporation which staged a mutiny against the Russian government. In early July, the provider confirmed the cyber attack, but did not confirm the damage allegedly caused by the hackers. Several days later, as a large NATO summit was unfolding in Lithuania, Russian government hackers struck again. Their main target was critical infrastructure around the summit. While several attacks appear to have been successful, no major disruptions were caused, and the authorities said that the attempts to sabotage the summit failed. In mid-July, Ukraine also said that it took down yet another Russian bot farm, a massive operation which involved over 100 people who ran thousands upon thousands of fake social media accounts. And now, Blitz news. Kevin Mitnick, possibly the most famous hacker in the world, passed away on July 16 at the age of 59. Mitnick rose to fame after becoming a subject of a massive FBI manhunt in the early 90s, and then became an influential cybersecurity specialist and consultant after serving his jail sentence. Elon Musk decided to subject Twitter to another one of his controversial decisions and rebranded the iconic social network as X. Since then, countless hosts and spokespeople remained in a state of utter confusion every time they had to refer to a tweet, and it seems that the situation is not getting any better. An unopened factory-sealed iPhone from 2007 has been sold in an auction for a record price of $190,000, breaking a previous record and making everybody who ever opened a box with a phone cry in terror. Despite being one of the most popular phones ever, the first iPhone is incredibly rare now. And let's end with the Hollywood writers' strike, which continued into its third month. Since then, it was joined by the Actors Guild and centered around the use of artificial intelligence, which caused stir in almost every field it touched, including newscasting. Oh well. And that's it for this July recap. Check out my daily videos where I dive deeper into these stories, and I will see you in the next one.